Hi, Will here from MusicTech at the NAMM show in Anaheim with Enrique Martinez from Novation. Enrique, how are you doing?
Not too bad, man. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for having us. Yeah. And we are looking today at the Launchpad Pro, which is the brand new Ableton controller from Novation.
Yep.
But there's a lot more to it than just Ableton control. So, Enrique, can you tell us what's going on here?
Yeah, so with the Launchpad Pro, one of the biggest additions is the 4-track sequencer. Fully built in, we've basically taken it from Circuit, Circuit Monostation, SL Mark III, taken all the best bits and kind of just compiled it into the Launchpad Pro. So we've added probability, we've added mutation per step, we've doubled the pattern lengths. Originally there were just 16 steps, they're now 32 steps, 8 patterns, you got pattern sets. I mean, it's pretty crazy. And on top of that, mentioning the Ableton side, you do get all the typical Ableton control that you would expect from here. We've also added transport control on here, which is nice, so you don't need something else to just press play. And on something like Launchpad Pro, you get duplicate, doubling clips, undo, redo, turn on your click track, all that stuff.
So basically you're putting in sort of button per function control for those sorts of functions you want to get to all the time.
Right.
So it's the idea to sort of, what is the idea behind that exactly?
I mean, it's just to kind of have the power and the flexibility of a DAW without having to use the computer and the keyboard.
Okay, so let's talk about the let's talk about the integration with the wider studio then, because it's not just about Ableton, right?
Exactly. So again, kind of like what I mentioned with the 4-track sequencer, we did want to kind of break it away, and we've added 2 MIDI outs, not just one. There's actually 2 separate MIDI outputs on the back of this thing. You have, of course, like if I go and say shift sequencer, here on my 4 tracks, I can choose what 16 MIDI channels they are. I can divide the tempo, multiply the tempo, change the layout. So if we go here, this is our drum layout. If I go here, it's keys in scale, but I can also put them in chromatic. I can choose what scale we're actually in. You still got all the typical scale modes, chromatic modes. So having the double MIDI out and all the sequencers, you can even save up to 64 projects. So in your projects, you have pattern settings and all the different setups for each track. So you can actually save full songs. Like you actually don't need a computer with this.
So you can save songs in the controller itself.
Exactly. Yeah. All your MIDI sequences, everything.
So you can. Let's hear it then in action. Let's hear what it can do.
So check this out. I'll take my kick, put it there. Right. I'll go to tempo, slow it down. Right now we're at 120.
And this is all coming from the Launchpad Pro. This is
right. So I have all the MIDI from the Launchpad Pro, but all the sounds we're hearing are coming from a channel in Ableton.
Okay.
But we can just pretend that it was using the MIDI out.
Sure.
Right. So we'll say that's cool. Put our hi-hats there, 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 and there. Hit record.
You can get in there and in a couple of minutes you're playing.
Right? Cool. Track 1. Pattern settings, I'll set it to 16 steps. Simple, but check this out. I'm going to say mutation. This is setting how mutated will the pitch be. If I go a little bit like 50%, it'll do like thirds and fifths, or maybe do an octave once in a while, get kind of spicy. I'll duplicate that step and paste it everywhere. Now listen to the pattern.
Interestingly, that's a similar theory that we applied when we looked at
it just kind of keeps changing itself. Probability, 50% chance it'll happen. Duplicate that. So now some steps are kind of skipping, some are mutating, and then I can just save this as a pattern, duplicate that pattern here, there, and then I can say, cool, that's that pattern set. It's going to play those. On this pattern, I want to play these 2 bars, those 4 bars, this and this. So now when I press that, we're playing that pattern set, go here, and it's kind of like a pseudo song mode. And then I can even chain these pattern sets together. So you're chaining chains of chains, and like everything has its own individual pattern length and all this stuff, and it's just kind of this fun way to explore. Actually, this is super important, last but not least, this drum pattern that we have. I can then go into Ableton, select a clip, and just say print to clip. And now,
And that's a button on the controller, print to
yeah,
clip.
so
Okay.
this print to clip button here, press that, it shoots the pattern over, and boom, now we have our MIDI pattern built into Ableton
Oh,
right
so
away.
it spits out that MIDI and chucks it straight into...
Straight into a clip, whatever clip you select.
Okay.
That's just scratching the surface. I mean, we didn't even get into all the crazy Ableton stuff as well, but the sequencer side is what I'm really excited about.
Okay, and this, can you also control anything other than MIDI-enabled gear? As a,
Yeah, so you have, like, for example, let's jump over to this track here. I'm going to go ahead and mute these. If I play this track, go to track 2, device mode.
okay, so you're
Controlling my devices on
You're
here.
controlling devices from the...
And I can even jump to different devices and control another set of parameters. And I'm not just stuck to 8 either. I can actually page down and control every parameter that that device has.
Wow, okay.
And then there's even custom modes. And these are velocity sensitive faders. And these can be spitting out MIDI CCs, or I can map them to anything in Ableton and kind of build up my perfect set that I need.
And are those pressure sensitive as well, those? Or is it,
Yeah, the softer you hit them, the slower they can slide up. And the harder you hit them, the
so
quicker they'll
is
go.
it just velocity or is it pressure as well?
There's polyphonic aftertouch
Oh, right, okay.
as well. So
Wow.
for all the MIDI stuff, yeah.
Amazing.
So poly aftertouch. Sadly, Ableton's Live doesn't support poly aftertouch yet, but plug this into like a Deckard stream, and it's just like game over. Yeah, it's
Dream.
like the dream. That's the dream. That was his dream.
How much does this cost then, and when will it be available?
It's going to be $349. It's going to be available mid-February.
Fantastic. Enrique,
My
thanks so
man,
much.
thanks so much for having me. Thank you guys.
High school.